is uh, this is Charlie Brown, aka Carlos Blue Faucher, in association with Faucher Boxing and Charlie Brown Boxing. You're watching the prediction and analysis video for the up and coming fight next Saturday between the heavyweight fight, should I say, between Derek Chisora and Tyson Fury. It's the second time that these two guys are meeting. On my Charlie Brown page, quite a few months ago, as the fight was actually made, I did a prediction video, and in that prediction, I actually picked Tyson Fury to basically outbox Derek Chisora and knock him out. But that was how many months ago? Recently, with all the shenanigans and stuff I've seen with these two guys at the live press conferences, from Tyson Fury, the first one where he threw the table, that was in London, where he actually stormed out of the press conference, threw the table over in a rage. I don't know if he was, it looked very staged. To me, I don't know. I'm sort of changing my mind. But anyway, look, I'm going to start with Derek Chisora, 6'1", 74-inch reach, 30 years old. He's had a total of 24 fights, 20 wins, 13 by knockout, 4 losses. Derek has mixed it with good, very, very good opposition. Not always. I mean, he hasn't had that many fights, but still, he's mixed it with good opposition. Danny Williams, Sam Sexton, Tyson Fury the first time, Robert Helenius, Vitaly Klitschko, David Haye, Malik Scott, Edmund Gerber, Kevin Johnson. He really has mixed it. He's been very busy recently. Last year, in particular, he had 4 fights. He beat Kevin Johnson earlier on this year in the unanimous decision. Didn't look that good, but he was, for me, I think Derek Chisora, I'd say out of the two of them, he's mixed it with better opposition. Anyway, let me analyze Derek's actual skills. Derek to me he's a come forward. He's a kind of what you would call a puncher. I wouldn't call him a swarmer because he doesn't really use that much head movement to avoid punches. He doesn't come at angles like Mike Tyson did. He's more of a Joe Frazier. Comes in a straight line, throws a lot of hooks. But he does have a high work rate when he does train well and he's in the right frame of mind. He actually does have quite a high work rate when he's ready. Regardless of the losses, I don't think he lost to Helenius. I actually thought he beat Helenius. And upon seeing this, I mean, let me just quickly talk about Tyson Fury, and then I'll go back to him. Tyson Fury is 6'9", of course, 85-inch reach. He's 25 years old. He's had 22 fights, 22 wins, 16 of those by knockout. No losses, no draws. But when I look at his kind of, when I look at his resume, I could see John McDermott, who I know is a very good boxer, regardless of his sort of physical appearance. He's a very, very good boxer. John McDermott is a fighter. But other than that, I mean, other than him fighting Derek Chisora, I can't really talk about Martin Rogan. He did beat Kevin Johnson as well. He beat Stevie Cunningham, but Stevie Cunningham come up from cruiserweight to fight him. And the last fight he had was against Joey Abel, who at some times in that fight was able to really get to Tyson. But I'm going to talk about both these fighters because these two fighters psychologically, when they're psychologically right, and I don't know neither of them, but I'm just going to say boxing is like 80 to 90% psychological. And I think for Derek, when he came in against Tyson Fury the first time, he was out of shape. He wasn't mentally right for that fight. I'm not making excuses for him. He shouldn't have really taken the fight. But he's got pride. Fighters have pride, and that's the kind of guy that Derek is. If Derek can come in there not mentally right, depressed, and out of shape and overweight, and take Tyson Fury the distance and hurt him, you know, I'm actually going to change my mind. I don't think Tyson Fury is going to have the kind of easy night he's expecting. Um, Basically, Tyson Fury himself was out of shape and not psychologically ready for the Joey Abel fight. Um, bear in mind he was expected to fight David Haye. David Haye twice pulled out of that fight. I've heard very conflicting stories from different people, and you know, this and that. I've heard it all, but I'm just gonna say that for me personally, my whole time in boxing, sparring with or without a head guard, I've never been cut. And you just don't spar without a head guard 7 days before a fight. So convenient, whatever the excuse is or whatever the reason is for David not going into that ring, for me, I know that both those injuries, if not, well, maybe not both of them, but I know definitely the cut eye one, to me, is a bit shady. Yeah, when you get cut in boxing, you don't have a straight cut. When you get stitches like that, there would be a slight curve in the stitch or something like that. It's not as straight as that. That looked like a standing knife. And I have been cut by a standing knife before, and I know it's straight. But anyway, I'm just gonna say, you know, Tyson Fury, to me, looking at when he threw the table in London, looking at when they were both in Manchester in the outdoors on Box Nation, with Steve Bunce there, and Derek was very, very calm. He was very calm. He wasn't having any of it. He gave as good as he got. There were all members of Tyson Fury's entourage and people, family, whatever, trying to get at him, and it's just ridiculous, man. Like I said before, you're not gonna intimidate a guy like Del Boy, Derek Chisora. You're just not, man. The guy's from Harare in Zimbabwe, and I tell you, man, I've got videos, like banned from TV videos of the genocide in Zimbabwe, the kind of stuff that happens. And I've got tapes that are way back in the 90s, sorry, in the late 80s, right through to the kind of noughties, right to the early 2000s, right, of tortures and massacres and rapings and stuff. These kind of things are. I've seen this kind of stuff. Like, there's a lot of genocide. I'm telling you this now, and I'm not trying to scare anybody. Derek Chisora is not going to be intimidated by Tyson Fury at all. I like Derek Chisora. I've got a lot of respect for him. I like the way he's reconstructed his character. He's gone up in my estimation. I didn't like the David Haye fight because there was a lot of stuff that happened outside the fight, which the media, I blamed for that. They always try and create some sort of tension within communities, the black community being one, because Derek's African, and obviously David Haye being mixed race, being Jamaican, half Jamaican. There's always been that kind of tension between Africa and Caribbean, and I just think, you know what? I'm not trying to promote that or perpetuate that anymore. I didn't really like the way they did that fight, the both of them, the fight, the bottle, the whole thing, the whole build up for the fight and everything. It was just wrong. It had a very, very negative effect on amateur boxing, especially for black fighters, especially for Africans and Caribbeans. Both had a very, very negative impact, not on myself, but I've seen it have a negative impact on other fighters that were trying to come up. But anyway, I won't go too much into that. But I say that Tyson Tyson Fury hasn't been that active. He is in shape. Um, he does look prepared for this one, but I don't. I think Tyson Fury is slightly scared, nervous, slightly losing the plot a little bit. In the last press conference that happened the other day, I mean, just the way he was acting alone, it looked like he was trying to get out the fight. It looked to me like he was really looking for an excuse for them to pull the plug on the fight. Thank God, I forgot the guy's name. Uh, I think it's Jim Rosenthal. He he was very, very calm. He didn't really, I mean, thank God he didn't panic or anything like that. He looked very, very calm, and there's no getting out of it for Tyson Fury. I think this could be the end of Tyson Fury, man. Seriously. But, maybe I'll be proved wrong, but to me, he looks like a very scared man in there. I think Derek is definitely going to have a higher work rate in that fight. Hopefully his pressure will be educated. Now, for those of you that, when I say educated pressure, because some dumb troll, really is a lot of dumb trolls here on YouTube, man. Educated pressure is basically moving your head or getting close to your man behind the jab. Right? I need to say that. When uneducated pressure is when your head is out there to get hit, and you try and absorb it and try and get your way in and get hooks on your opponent. Now, the pressure will come for Tyson. It might not be, it will be in spurts, but it will come. And I'm gonna back Derek, man. He is the shorter guy, the shorter reach, but I just feel that, if he can keep his head together and keep his work rate up, I think he beats this guy. He might even knock out Tyson Fury, to tell you the truth. Um, Tyson Fury to me he's gone down in my estimation, and I always support Tyson Fury because he does get a raw deal. But recently, seeing his antics and the kind of stuff he says, I could almost take it as some sort of racial agenda behind it. But I'm not gonna go there. But some of the stuff he was saying, it seemed quite racially motivated myself. Nobody said anything about it. Derek hasn't complained. It's not about, I've been in situations with people like Tyson, not other travelers, but other guys. And there's certain things they say, they might not say something overtly racist, but to me, I don't know what he's trying to do. If he's trying to get underneath Derek's skin, that's just not going to work. But like I said, Derek will have seen genocide. I'm not criticizing Zimbabwe because it is a blessed country, but it's not a place where you can mess around, man. People get kidnapped every day. It's not a nice place if you haven't got money. That's all I'm gonna say. And Derek is no chump. Derek is. I'm not trying to tarnish his image or anything like that. I'm just saying that from what he's grown up around, he will not, he will not be scared. So I'm picking Derek to knock him out or beat him on points. He's been more active. He's in better shape mentally, spiritually, physically than Tyson is. I think Tyson's in good shape physically. Um, I think spiritually he might be right, but certainly mentally he's not. I think he's off his game, and I expect to see either some sort of controversial happening in that fight. Something controversial is going to happen with Tyson. I think he might try and bite him, or there might be a headbutt or something. I just get that feeling from Tyson's end. But hopefully he might prove me wrong, you know what I mean? He might, but I can't see it. I'm backing Derek for this one. Let me know what you think anyway. Personally, as well, I'll just add to this. I think that this fight should have a belt up for grabs. Definitely some sort of world title. You know, it's a bit of a shambles, the heavyweight division at the moment. But this fight should definitely, there should be a world title up for grabs, man. This is going to be a good fight. One of the fights of the year, I expect it to be. I just hope that both the guys are on their best behavior for the last week, right up until Saturday. I just hope nothing happens that will put this fight in jeopardy. But if it does happen, I think it will be more from Tyson Fury's end. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Hopefully, this is one of many fights I'm going to cover in the heavyweight division. Should brighten things up, but you know, let me know what you think. Let me know the outcome, and as usual, just give you a little bit of analysis as well. I'm out. Bless.